Alright, so here we are again. We've got to do now activity. We're going to get a little bit more practice simplifying radicals here. Okay, what we need to remember is that this symbol right here, the radical symbol, tells me to find what number multiplies by itself to equal product of 50, the radicand, the number underneath the radical symbol. And what I want to do is try and take perfect squares out of the square root of 50. Okay? Now, I need to remember what the perfect squares are, right? 1 times 1 equals 1, so that's a perfect square. And 2 times 2 equals 4, so 4 is a perfect square. And 3 times 3 equals 9, and so on and so forth. Okay, whole numbers times themselves. What is the product? Those are the perfect squares. Which one can I divide my radicand by? That gives me a whole number. So basically, I'm just going to turn my calculator on. Oh, I got a little blurry here. Let's try and fix that. So I'm trying to find perfect squares that I can divide 50 by. So I just type 50 into my calculator, right? And I divide by 1, 4, 9, 16. None of those are going to help me. So I'm going to go to 25. I know 5 times 5 is 25. And if I get a whole number, then that's what I'm looking for. So here we're going to go, the square root of 50 is equal to the square root of 25 times the square root of 2, right? Those are equal to each other. Now, I know what the square root of 5, or the square root of 25 is, right? And if I want to use my calculator for that, I just push second x squared, that's the radical symbol, second x squared 25, and close those parentheses, press enter, and that's 5, right? So now I have 5 times the square root of 2, which is equal to 5 root 2. And that's the simplified solution. That's prime factorization. And that's the answer right there. And if I turn this thing over, and look right here, hey, 5 root 2, that's what we're looking for. Okay, I'm gonna show you a few more of these. The square root of 54. Let's look at these over here. Okay, so let's just take, clear that out. 54 divided by 4. No, that's not a whole number. 54 divided by 9. No, that one works. Okay, so I'm going to take out the square root of 9 times the square root of 6. And I know the square root of 9, second x squared 9, equals 3, because 3 times 3 equals 9. So, my simplified solution, I can't take any more perfect squares out of 6, so I'm done there. I'm going to go with 3 times the square root of 6, just like that. And let's check our answer. 3 times the square root of 6 for number 2. Okay, I'm going to start going a little bit faster here. And I'm looking at the square root of 75. Well, again, I know 25 is a perfect square, and 25 times 3 equals 75. You can check that out if you need to. 25 times 3, 75. And I know that the square root of 25, we already found it up here in number 1, is 5. So now I have 5 root 3. Okay. And 150, I know I can divide that by 25 as well. And 25 times 6. Let's check that. 25 times 6 equals 150. Okay, and this is equal to 5. So 5 root 6 is my answer there. So these can go pretty quickly once you know all those perfect squares. Right? Oh, I know 144, right? Second x squared 144, that's 12. That's a perfect square. Okay, and the square root of 16 is equal to 4, because 4 times 4 is equal to 16. And this radical symbol, right? If I put 4 squared under there, that's equal to the square root of 16, which is equal to 4. Okay, we're just working back and forth with this. Remember, working with radicals is the inverse of working with exponents, more or less. I'm going to do a couple more of these. The square root of 216. Alright, that one's kind of big, so we're going to go 216 divided by, let's try 4. Oh, 54. Well, I know I can take another perfect square out of 54 because 9 times 6 is 54. So I'm going to go a little bigger. I'm going to do 216 divided by 16, 13.5. 216 divided by 36. Hey, that's 6. Okay, so I'm going to do, that's equal to the square root of 36 times the square root of 6. And I know that the square root of 36, the number that multiplies by itself to equal 36, is 6. So now I have 6 root 6. Alright, and one more, square root of 45. I'm going to take out the square root of 9 and the square root of 5. Those two numbers multiply to make 45, and the square root, second root 9 equals, that's 3. 3 times 3 is 9, 3 root 5. Alright, that's the end of the detail. We're going to stop right there.